And hi, everyone. Welcome to WKYC.com. It's post-game coverage. Cleveland State advancing to the Horizon League Championship game tonight with a come-from-behind win over Milwaukee in the semifinals. I'm Dave DeNatale, along with Cleveland State's, I think, number one fan slash alumnus slash cheerleader, everything, Nick Camino. This is great, Nick, watching what the Vikings have done this year. And tonight just kind of seemed like it was really kind of a snapshot of what we've seen all year from the Vikings. Sometimes it's not pretty, but they find ways to come back and win and put it together at the right time.
Yeah, Dino, first of all, thanks for having me. I think you can call me the number one fan, but we do, when it comes to news, we keep it objective. There's no bias. We tell it like it is, right? But no, you're right. It's funny. Tonight's game was really, it felt like synonymous of their entire season, where it's like, there were different times where, they finished, I think, in the league 16-4, and there were different times in the Horizon League slate where, they had to come from behind or, they couldn't, really kick free from a team. And tonight was just that. I mean, they're down 11 points with about 7:38 to go. I think it was at the under 8 timeout. I'm like, wow, this is going to be really tough. And they come back and win. And so it's a fun story. It's been a fun ride. I know you've been following it since day one with me. And I really think the cool part about this now is this is when people here in Cleveland and in Northeast Ohio really start to take notice of it. And if they can find a way to win tomorrow, you know what the next 2 weeks are going to be like. I know people get excited about Ohio State and hopefully Kent State and Akron, or I know your alma mater, Bowling Green. They'll have the MAC tournament coming up. That'll be a big deal, and people will pull for them. But you've seen it. I've seen it. When Cleveland State gets in, this city comes alive. And so if they can win tomorrow night, I think there's going to be a lot of excitement that's going to surprise some people if they're new to this area.
Yeah, it's only happened 2 other times, Nick. I mean, and most recently was the Gary Waters team in 08, 09, and Norris Cole and Brown and the rest of those guys. And like 85, 86, once the Vikings got in, they were a tough out. They were a tough out both times. And, people still talk about the Sweet 16 run in 1986. But you're right. It's when I feel like when the Vikings are relevant and they're in this thing, all of a sudden everybody starts to become college basketball fans again. And if those dormant fans come back to life and like, oh, yeah, we love March Madness. We love it. It's great. It really is great.
My phone was blowing up all game, and at the beginning it was a lot of people saying, oh man, I can't believe this is going to happen. It's such a nice season. How could they lose? And then, the final 7 minutes, people are going crazy saying, hey, I think they're going to do this. I think they can do this. And everybody seems to be into it right now. And let's be fair. Right now at this moment, there's not much going on with the Browns. Cavaliers are at the All-Star break. Indians are at spring training. It almost feels like it's the perfect storm where, this could really take off, where people will be really excited about Cleveland State basketball for the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. Who knows? But again, you're going to have to win tomorrow. We're going to have to, you're really going to have to put together a nice game plan. If we are going to be critical here of one thing is, I think these first couple games against Fort Wayne and against Milwaukee, Cleveland State's kind of looked lethargic at times. It's like, you got to come out there and, put the pedal to the metal. This is the tournament, boys.
The first 4 minutes, they looked great. They're up, I think, 14-6 going into the first media timeout or whatever. And so they're going, okay, they look ready, calm, comfortable. Next thing you know, I mean, the Vikings scored 2 points for the next 12 minutes of the first half. I mean, Milwaukee goes on a 19-2 run, and Cleveland State didn't score into another field goal almost until there were 3 minutes to go. And then you sit there and you go, guys, come on. The other thing, Nick, I think, and as we tape this, we don't know if they're going to play Northern Kentucky or Oakland. We're finding that out as we speak tonight. Vikings got to do better on the boards than they did tonight. They had a lot of problems boxing out Milwaukee on the offensive glass, and they're going to have to do a better job of limiting whoever they play tomorrow and knock out those second shot opportunities.
Yeah, and listen, I think Cleveland State has some natural scorers with guys like Baudouin and Demoy Hodge. But I really think you could, as you're kind of pointing to, you could really take advantage of your size, with guys like Patton and Eichelberger. If you can hit that low post. And even Trey Gomillion, I know he's only 6'5", but he plays like a 6'8", 6'9" forward at times. So if you can use your size and your strength to your advantage, no matter who they play, whether it's Oakland or Northern Kentucky, both of those teams, if people haven't followed the Horizon League, are very guard heavy. So you could have a size advantage. So I think those are two different things that CSU could exploit that would be to their advantage, no doubt.
Put this in perspective. Dennis Gates was literally hired. Head coaches in college basketball, usually the window for doing your hiring comes, between, around the Final Four to maybe May or so. And then that's pretty much it. Then you get a chance to start working with your guys, and that's it. Dennis Gates was hired like in late July of 2019. I mean, had very little time to get to know the hand that he was dealt, played out the string, was the co-coach of the year, and did so because of all those things I mentioned. Winning 11 games was remarkable. But now, Nick, in year 2, they're 18-7, and within one win of going to the NCAA tournament. It's just miraculous how quickly this program has been turned around.
Yeah, it's an incredible turnaround. He deserves all that has been given to him. Back-to-back Coach of the Year. They were the regular season Horizon League champs, and to put that in perspective, Dino, I mean, this was a team that hadn't done that since 2011, and a team that hasn't gone to the NCAA tournament, as you mentioned, in 12 years. So what he's been able to come in and do in such a short time, especially like you mentioned, the timeline of when he got the job. The thing I could compare it to for Cleveland sports fans would be, I don't like to compare sports, especially college and pro, and especially completely different sports, but kind of like Kevin Stefanski with the Browns. I mean, he takes over, not necessarily late, but in this, pandemic type of year where he doesn't get to see his team. You don't have a preseason, and the Browns have this remarkable turnaround. I think it's fair. You could liken that to what Cleveland State has done. I know this is year 2 for Gates, but he took over late. Didn't really have many of his players here at a certain point, and he's really done a nice job. So if they can get this done tomorrow, no matter whether they get it done or not, it looks like the program finally is not only relevant again, but legit, where they could really go on a run to win this conference over the next few years. So that's what you have to do. You have to build a program so you can sustain it. No matter who the head coach is, no matter who the players are, it's almost like the brand sustains itself. That's got to be the goal for Cleveland State, because we know Dennis Gates is going to be a hot name, and we know players come and go, Dino. So if you can sustain just, what the program has had, kind of what you saw with Butler when they were in the Horizon League, if you can, no matter who the head coach is, no matter who the players are, just have that level of expectation of excellence, and hopefully they can do that now.
Last thing, Nick, a lot of people are going to be watching the Vikings tomorrow night, whether it's on ESPN or ESPN2, that maybe haven't watched them this year, and people are going to be really starting getting in the fever. For people who are going to be watching them, maybe for the first time this year, who should be the player to watch for fans to say, okay, if this player is on or this guy is on, I really feel good about my chance here to see this team make it to the NCAA tournament.
To me, the whole year, the X factor has been Demoy Hodge. He wears number 55, and when he's out there, you can just tell he is. How do you put this? He's different. he's not. All due respect to the Horizon League, it's at times he doesn't look like. He looks like a high major player. And I remember the column that Terry Pluto from Cleveland.com did a tremendous job on. He was talking about when Gates took the job and he was recruiting, and he had 2 lists when he was out recruiting for Florida State. He had his Florida State list that he was recruiting for Leonard Hamilton, and he had his mid-major list in case he was going to get a job. And he was out scouting these players, and he was out there and he saw Demoy Hodge. And when he saw Demoy Hodge, he put him on the Florida State list, and he said, this kid can play in the ACC. This kid ends up coming to Cleveland State. We saw what he did. He scored the NCAA most points this year against Fort Wayne earlier in the year. Dino, he hasn't had that type of game that he wants to have yet. If Demoy Hodge can do that, get hot at some level, I don't think it matters who they play tomorrow. I think they're going to the big dance.
Yep. He has that ability. And by the way, I promised I would mention, everybody's going to have Viking fever So if you want to make sure you can watch games next year with Nick Camino and myself, because he and I are going to be at games next year at the Wolstein Center. Operators are standing by at CSUVikings.com, and you can get your season ticket orders in right away. And the lower level seats start at just $49. So
let me tell you something. There's going to be 2 hot tickets in Cleveland next year: the Browns and the Cleveland State Vikings. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah, absolutely. My friend, thank you for jumping on here tonight to talk Cleveland State with me. Go Vikings tomorrow. We will have coverage of the game at WKYC.com. We'll be following it at 7 o'clock tomorrow. We'll have the live blog up, so you'll be able to.
That feels good to hear. We're covering the Cleveland State game. This is that's big time.
I know. It's like this is what a lot of people have been waiting for a long time. And this program is relevant and it's exciting, and we're talking about the big dance and things like that. So you've been really doing a great job all year long covering them for us, and my friend, as always, I appreciate it.
Dino, it was fun.
All right, thanks everybody for watching our special look at Cleveland State and their run to the Horizon League Championship game right here on WKYC.com.